So your philosophy or how you think about your health is really crucial to your health outcomes because it affects your health decisions. Now, in general, there's two big thought processes when it comes to health and the philosophy of health. There's the mechanistic approach. This is much more what the allopathic or the pharmaceutical approach is. And that is that the parts are separate, that the sum is not greater than the parts, that your gallbladder or your heart or digestive system can be treated separately from the rest of your system. It also is the view that your body is the result of things that happen from the outside, meaning that if you get cancer, you get heart disease, it's much more of a random, unknown thing than has to do with you and your lifestyle. Now, of course, there are things that we can't control. There's people that seemingly do everything right and still get heart disease or cancer or some major disease. But it has much more to do with what you do than what happens to you. So for example, I think it was in the 70s in New York or New Jersey, there was something called 3 Mile Island where there was a nuclear reactor leak. And so a lot of people in that area got cancer. Now you could have been doing a lot of things right and exercising, eating right, doing all the right things, and they got exposed to this nuclear waste unknowingly and still get cancer. But there's also a lot of people that live there that got exposed to the waste and didn't get cancer, right? So the other school of thought is what's called the vitalistic approach. And this is what chiropractic is. And the vitalistic approach is that your body is self-healing and it's self-regulating, that you digest your food, you fight off germs and viruses and cancer cells all the time, and that the sum is much greater than the individual parts. And you have much more control over how your body responds and how it adapts to different stresses than you've been led to believe. So, for example, we have, if you think of a radio tuner, the old radio tuners, when you would go to tune into a radio station, you'd have to get it just right or you would get static. And the further you turn that radio station away, the more static that you got. Well, when we look at the better our body's self-healing and the better that it's regulating, the better we can adapt, okay? So it's kind of like that radio station tune in just right and you're getting a perfect signal. That's when your body's at the max healing. So how do we affect that? Well, we know that our brain and nervous system controls all of our healing, and that runs through our spine. So the better our spine and nervous system's functioning, it's going to get better communication. The other things that we do as far as physical, chemical, and emotional stress. The more likely that the longer that you sit at a desk or a computer or look down at your phone, the more you're getting that radio tune out of dial and getting more static, and now you're more likely to get sick or get injured. Chemical stress, the more processed foods, the more sugars, the more fast food you eat, the more you're turning that radio dial and getting more static. Emotional stress, right? If you're stressed about finances or your job or your family, again, you're more likely to get that tune out of dial and you're more likely to get dis-ease or sickness. So again, we can't control necessarily what happens to us, but we can control how we respond, which has a lot to do, again, with your chiropractic adjustments, your spinal rehab. And it's not about being perfect, but the closer you can get to those things, again, the better that you're going to heal. Now, here's the cool part. When you're getting chiropractic care, what the research shows is you get a bigger gap, meaning that there's more play in that radio dial. You can move that radio dial more and more, but you're still going to be tuned into that signal. Like, we still have to take responsibility for our actions, but chiropractic gives us a bigger gap. It allows us to be more forgiving in our lifestyle.